guys, very quickly before we start the video, I just want to say don't forget to smash that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified every time I upload, and comment down below your thoughts about it. Don't forget to enjoy! Now let me explain something. I don't know if I told you this at the beginning of the sessions or not, but in the world according to Ilana, all the diseases that have been around a long time, meaning year and longer, or even 6 months and longer, but we'll say year and longer, they are no longer the issue. They are the coping mechanism. And it's a coping mechanism for many different things it could be. And what I tell people to do, and this works every time when they do it, as long as they do it, is that whenever you feel even the slightest bit of one or a two of the symptoms coming on, that's when you do the work. You don't wait for it to get to be a 10 when it's a 1 or 2. Now, in the beginning, you're going to feel like you're dialing or tapping all the time, nonstop. It's going to seem like every 20 minutes, half an hour, oh, gotta dial again, gotta tap again, whatever it is that works best for you. The more you do it at the beginning, the less you're going to have to do it afterwards. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine has panic and anxiety disorder. Okay? She goes, the way that she describes it is that one moment she's fine, the next minute in her face, it's like total panic, total anxiety. Yet, with all that, when I explained to her what to do, and this is what normally happens with people who have panic and anxiety disorder. They feel it at a 1 or 2, but they have this to do and that 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 to do, and they say, oh, well, it's okay, I can handle it, I'm just going to continue doing what I need to do. Then it goes up to a 3 or a 4, and they're like, this isn't so comfortable anymore, but I still have all this. I'll just continue doing what I need to do, and I'm going to push that aside. Now, the body's giving you a message. The body's saying, you can't do all that. You got to stop and take a rest and take a break. You don't listen to the body's going to shout a little bit louder and a little bit louder and a little bit louder till it's full-blown 10, and then you're like, where did that come from? I was just busy doing my work, and in my face it was a 10. If you started tapping when it was a 1 or a 2, it would go away. Now, my friend did this for a month, where she'd catch it at the very beginning, she would tap. The tapping would take maybe a minute or 2, it'd be done, she'd continue her work. Half an hour later, it would start again. She'd tap for a minute or 2, it would go away. She felt like she was tapping all day long, yet she was managing to get things done. But for a full month while she was doing that, she did not have a single panic attack or anxiety attack. Amazingly enough. She didn't keep up with it, so they came back.
Oh, yeah.
All right? Now, for someone who has it so ingrained inside of them, because what is it, a coping skill? It's a coping skill that's telling you you can't cope with all that. The only way you'll be able to cope is if you take a break. How are you going to take a break? Have an anxiety attack. You have to sit down. You can't do your work then, and then you'll be able to cope with all that work because you're not going to have to do it anymore. No one's going to expect it from you. Same thing goes for diseases. You don't want to deal with something, each person takes it on a little bit differently, probably because sometime in their past, sometime in their childhood, they didn't want to do something and they managed to get out of it using a certain skill, be it through a temper tantrum, be it through a anxiety attack, be it at that point it wasn't anxiety, at that point it was just fear, and they managed to get out of it, be it through having stomach aches, be it through being sick, be it through any one of the above things, okay? And the body learns, oh, it worked then. She got sick then, and she didn't have to do the work that she was supposed to do. She doesn't want to do the work now. Let's get sick. We won't have to do it. Right?
That's me. That would be me.
It's an unconscious program. It's not something that you are doing on a conscious level. You're not saying to yourself, I'm going to make myself sick now so I don't have to do it. Even me with my money issues, every now and then I'll get this big, enormous bill, and I'll go into a little bit of an anxiety attack, and then I'll say, wait a second, it's always been okay till now. God's always helped me. Thank you, God, for giving me the means to be able to pay this bill, and someone else will pay me, and that's where the money energy goes around. And then I'm through with it. But I have to remind myself of it. Because the automatic reaction, there's still something left of it. Still, it's like an organism that's trying to come back to life again. And if you allow it to, it will. If you don't allow it to, if you keep substituting it for a better coping mechanism, be it the tapping, be it the dialing, be it the spinning, be it the meditation, be it looking at Facebook, you know, the inspirational and funny memes, be it watching a comedy on television, you will stop the cycle. But you have to keep up with it. And people say, am I never going to be finished with this? And it's not a question of not being finished with it. It's a question of it getting better and better and better, meaning you have it less and less and less. Because if you have it only once every few months, it's manageable. If you have it every day, 100 times a day, it's not manageable.
Right. So it's not a matter with something like that of going back to the original memory of when you first used that coping skill?
That certainly does help, but your body has already picked up the habit. Your mind and body have already picked up the habit, and they found it to be an effective coping skill. Effective in their terms, not effective in your terms. But the body knows that if it doesn't put in this coping skill, you're going to run yourself down to the ground.
So that's usually the case, that somebody needs to take a break, that they're working too much? Is that usually the case with a coping skill like that?
I think very often, yes. I couldn't tell you if it's all cases, but very often, yes. It could also be something, you know, which has to do with if your parents constantly blew up at you and that was your coping skill to run off and get sick. You know, that is something, I don't know if you've seen that meme on Facebook, but it was going around about how when you yell at kids, it creates trauma inside of them.
Yeah.
Trauma can create panic. Trauma can create anxiety. And then you grow up, and then your boss yells at you, and poof, guess what happens? You go into panic and anxiety. Your spouse yells at you, and poof, what happens? Panic and anxiety. The person in the car next door who you just cut off starts yelling at you, and poof, what happens?
I have that with my boss.
All right. Every
Yeah.
time you feel it coming on, start the tapping, or start the dialing, or start the spinning, or any of the other techniques that you have in your hands that are useful for you. Keep doing it every single time. The work that I do with you here is important to get down to the root causes, to get rid of those root causes. But the job that you have to do is throughout your daily life, constantly be applying it. And the more you apply it now, the less you will have to apply it later. It doesn't mean it will totally disappear. It could still pop up every now and then, but you have the tools to let it go quickly, rapidly, and it won't come back nearly as often. It might not totally eradicate it. You might still have to have that reminder to eradicate it, but it'll be in a manageable form. It will no longer be in a form where it's hitting you constantly every day, bombarding you. And you have the tools of how to get rid of it on the spot without letting it get out of hand. But that's the trick. You have to use it on the spot. Not wait, not let it grow big, on the spot. Now, if you can catch it, then you can also generally make the connection with the trigger and then tap out the trigger as well. This is right down below over there. Have a great week.